Jared Wuerzburger open capture smile.
No, I closed it. Sorry.
If you smile, it takes a picture of you.
Okay.
Don't smile.
I got that.
I like how it tells you in case you get your weenus out or something. It's like, please hide away your genitals.
Our next game, Jared's going to take us into that. It's called Space Pioneer. So, Jared, tell us more about what this game is.
Sure, Space Pioneer, and I want to, before we start talking about Space Pioneer, open with, I thought, I thought this game was interesting for a number of reasons. One of them is a conversation that I hope that we'll have about what we think makes a good Kickstarter promotional page, because
that's why we're here.
Yeah, it's why we're here. But this is, we haven't really, I guess. Well, we do occasionally talk, I guess, about it. But I thought that the topic of this game is pretty neat. So we're talking about Space Pioneer, and Space Pioneer is advertised as being a video game which is created by real-world astronauts, scientists, and architects. The idea is that you can explore space while building vast colonies and cities. The problem is they don't give a whole bunch of data on what the gameplay is going to be like. They don't give a whole bunch of. They give a little bit of artwork, and they even show one of the artists working on some conceptual art. But they don't show any kind of gameplay footage. So the concept of the game, from as they tell it, is that you're going to be introduced as a character who's a cadet in this academy of astronauts within the Global Space Agency, which is, I guess, kind of like a cool play on the Star Trek universe. You're going to be going from planet to planet with all the other cadets on a scouting mission, and you're kind of looking for an old relic, which is very far away from Earth. So there's some pretty cool stuff. They want to make, I guess what kind of also interests me about it is they want to make a game that's both educating and entertaining, which we do see some of, but I think for most of us, it's kind of a weird balance between this education and entertainment, because I think a lot of us play games in order to be entertained as a way to relax. Music and radio, they say they're gonna play music. They're working, they say, with the Moscow Philharmonic Orchestra, which is fantastic. Except that in game you'll also have pop music, electronic music, jazz, rock, and pretty much anything else can be heard of, which I thought was kind of weird. Maybe even NPR, it says. So I don't know what to think. They say that their team at Space Enigma Studios has quite a few individuals, and they show photos of some of the astronauts, Russian astronauts that are involved in the product in this whole project. They show other individuals, which I assume are going to be doing more of the work. There's architects that are going to be involved. There's even a composer from Tennessee who's involved, which I'm not exactly sure how he's going to be involved if they're using music from Russia or from the orchestra in Russia that they're talking about. Because this guy's from Knoxville, Tennessee. So I don't know. It's not really very clear. It seems like something that would be pretty neat, but there's no real tangible essence to it. So the reason I brought it up was because they're targeting. They're kind of. Is it okay to be this generic? I mean, they're not. We're based on the results too. If we pull it up. They don't give a whole bunch of data. Once again, there's not a whole bunch of stuff going on. Space Pioneer here says they're looking for. They currently have 736 backers. They've got 34,000, which is more than I would have expected. For kind of, they have a lot of data, but it's kind of all over the place. They're looking for a $150,000 goal. and they have 7
God
days to
bless
go. God bless them. So that being said, I guess I'll pose. First of all, I guess we'll, if it's okay with everybody, if we can talk about whether or not we think that the game has something going for it, or whether it's 7 days if it's gonna reach the goal, and then talk about whether we think like that using Kickstarter as a means to get your project launched is something that should be done, or whether you should have at least some sort of essence to your game, right? Before you throw it up on Kickstarter to ask for money.
Yeah, that's really good observations there, Jared, and thanks for the overview. But yeah, we really should talk about how this Kickstarter is constructed, and I wonder if Justin or Remi, either one of you, have any thoughts on how the Space Pioneer is presented as a project?
Yeah, I if you don't mind, I
Go for it,
have a
Remi.
couple of things to say. Oh God, it's first of all, it's pretty interesting how they mentioned that this game is made by real-world astronauts, scientists, and architects, and that's kind of I guess their selling point, right, of the game. But I'm also a little bit worried that the game is made by real-world astronauts, scientists, and architects. And they don't show or say anything about the gameplay or the game designers that worked on it, because it's advertised as a game, right, on the website. And even though the video is pretty cool, and because it's just a video, they don't really show footage of the game. And at this point in the project, I would say they really have to show at least a little bit something of gameplay, not even like real gameplay from the engine, but maybe tell you what you're going to be doing as a player. I guess that's one of the things I don't know, that I'm more worried about this project.
In a quick interjection, this is the website, and they've been covered by quite a few different news and blogs. So at least there's an interest, and that's probably how they've got their funds so far.
Wow, wowzers.
Wowzers is right. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, Remi, I just want to follow up about your comments on the gameplay. Do mention some tidbits on their pitch page. Unfortunately, it's not in the video. They make you work for that information. You got to scroll down. There's a section called gameplay on the page. You got to read some text, and it's still not very clear. They mentioned it's going to have RTS mechanics, and they're also going to have, that's one mode. Another mode is that it's going to be, I think, more of like a first-person exploration thing, where you're going to be in your ship. You can pilot your ship everywhere. So right there, they've described, Novus Aeterno, which is an RTS we covered some weeks back, and they also covered Star Citizen. So they have like two different games here going in their game. And then they also have a multiplayer component, which could be a stretch goal or it could be part of the base launch. And that's going to be more of like you're trying to, it's like your standard RTS thing where it's like players battle each other, trying to destroy each other's bases, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm as kind of like befuddled as you guys are about Space Pioneer. When I first saw the page, I was excited because I was thinking, okay, this is a game that's coming from astronauts, people who are grounded in real science, and they're going to make a game using, based on hard facts. And I was immediately thought about Kerbal Space Program, which has been really popular lately, and it has a huge educational component as well as being fun. At least the people who play it a lot tell me it's fun. And what as I dug into the pitch, I was like, okay, well now I'm confused because, as Jared mentioned, there's no gameplay on display, and as Remi hinted at, there's a whole lot of topic experts on this team. But they're missing like a game director or a design director to tie them all together. You got a whole bunch of astronauts, architects, even writers, journalists, science fiction writers, and real science writers. But yeah, there's no game guy there, and that's really worrying. And the game right now just feels like a hodgepodge of Master of Orion, Star Citizen, and StarCraft. And all those games could be made, and they're all fabulous games that are fun to play. They didn't require astronauts and architects and all these well-educated people to be on the team. So what makes this game so special that you need these topic experts to get this game out? So that's the fundamental flaw I see with this Space Pioneer. Justin, do you have any thoughts on this game before we wrap up?
Basically, yeah, just after skimming through the whole page, and looking at especially the gameplay section, it does seem like this was an idea. This game's designed by someone without a lot of game design experience, because it does feel like, you know, something that we all kind of like when you don't really know about making games and you have like these ideas of these huge expansive games where it's like, why isn't there a game where I can explore every planet and go everywhere and, you know, like learn about different species and fight other alien civilizations? Well, that's because it's a lot of damn work, and I don't think that this project's very real. Like, they're going for realism, but I don't think they understand the reality of making this game. So, yeah, I don't think it's gonna I don't think it's gonna reach its goal, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see much more of this game after the Kickstarter, you know, like after this is done.
And I kind of feel bad. You know I brought it up, but it's kind of like it's kind of upsetting in that, you know, that someone might have a lot tossed up in this, and then to not have, you know, any outcome from it whatsoever at all. The last line is just kind of like one of the last lines in the music and radio section. It says that there'll be a radio station that's completely dedicated to comedy. I just, you know, it's just kind of mind-boggling.
They should start a radio station instead. I don't know.
Because that was a funny joke, you mean? Like, that last line is so funny that they should start a...
Well, I don't know. It just, yeah, it sounds like they've got all these great ideas, but it just doesn't sound like a realist. You know, it doesn't seem like they could make it.
Maybe
they're not, probably. So.
Maybe if they, instead of selling it like a game, if they should have told us, oh, it's gonna be like a very realistic space simulator, maybe people would be more inclined into it.
Yeah,
I mean, I just
read my mind there.
Oh.
Because
yeah,
like
maybe that would work better, I guess, for this type of project. Just because they're going for a very realistic and try to mimic reality in a very, you know, accurate way, I guess. Otherwise, why would you, you know, take all this time from this people that really know their stuff?
Yeah. And there's going to be aliens in it. And
of course.
It's like, yeah, it seems like we want it to be really realistic, but is it going to take me, you know, like several light years to travel? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like they want everything in the game.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a hot mess. Should disagree.
Well played. Well played.
Good one. That's a good one.
Space Pioneer is a hot mess. But you know, you can fund this game on Kickstarter. It's got some days left, so Godspeed, and we wish them the best of luck. And maybe we'll revisit this project in the future. See what happens.